Today we're going to be looking at addition and subtraction, and although you might already feel like you're pros at adding and subtracting, I think it's important for us to revisit just the basic properties of adding and subtracting, because for some reason once we start throwing in the variables and applying them to algebra topics, people start to get a little confused with the positives and the negatives and all of that business. So I think it's good for us to review before we start going on to a little more complicated topics. So what I've done is I've created this table for you guys, and it's really based off of this orange equation right here. Okay. Some number A plus another number B will give you a sum at the end. Okay. So this table just shows various situations. So if the first number is positive and you add it to something else that's positive, you'll get a positive answer. So maybe like if I had 9 and 3, they're both positive numbers, we know the answer is 12, and it will help us know that our answer at the end is going to be positive. Okay. In the second row, you'll notice actually the second and third row, they have the same first situation, so the same A, the same B, but their sums end up being different. And so let me show you what that means for us here. So that means in the first one, it'll end up being positive if our A is bigger than B. In the one right here, if our A is smaller than B, then we're going to end up with a negative answer. So for these two, I want you to just disregard the sign in general. Just look at what the number is and figure out, is this number bigger than this one? So let's go to here. So if I have 9 plus negative 3, okay. So disregarding the sign, don't worry about these signs here. Is the 9 bigger or is the 3 bigger? The 9 is bigger, okay? So the 9 is the bigger number. Is 9A or B in this problem? So is 9A or is it B? So the 9 is A, so the A is bigger in this problem, so it's going to be the situation. So that's going to give us a positive answer on this side. Okay. And so we know, though, now we can talk about the signs. We know that this combination is going to be overtaken by the minus sign, okay? So we're going to, this is really saying 9 minus 3 is 6, okay? It's positive 6. Whereas if I had this situation, so let's just figure out if the sum's going to be positive or negative. So when we're just trying to figure out what the sign is, look at the numbers, so don't worry about the signs right now for A and B. So 3 and 9, which one's bigger, 3 or 9? Okay, the 9 is bigger, okay, so which means that the 3 is the smaller number, so A is smaller, which means this is going to give me a negative answer. Okay, just like I told you, if we're trying to solve this out now, we get this situation. Remember, the minus overpowers the plus when it's a plus-minus situation. So I end up with 3 minus 9, which is negative 6. Okay. Oops. And in the last situation, we have both A and B are negative, so we're going to end up with a negative number. So that might look like this. 9 plus negative 3 equals, so they're both negatives, so we're going to have a negative right here, and that will give me negative 12. So I've quickly drawn this number line here because I want to show you some common confusion that happens here, because for one thing, you're probably wondering why I even did this in the first place, where I write this plus and then that minus in the parenthesis like that, because people have a hard time with the examples sometimes with row 2, 3, and 4. They don't know why 9 plus negative 3 is 6 and why 3 plus negative 9 is negative 6. They get confused with that, so I'm going to give you a visual example, okay? So let's call this guy 1. Let's call this guy 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's look at 1. So this is saying, let's go to A. Our A in 1 is 9. So I'm going to start right here. Okay. put a dot right there. And what this is saying is add 3. So remember the number line I told you, when you're going to be positive 3, you're going to the right. So from 9, you're going over 3. 1, 2, 3, and that gives me 12 here. Okay, so that's how you can kind of think this in a number line if you're starting to get confused. Okay, let's look at number 2. So in number 2, again, they want me to start at 9. Okay, but this time they want me to add a negative 3 right before I did all of this crossing out stuff. It was a 9 plus negative 3. This is what the problem looked like. Okay, so if I want to go towards the negative direction, I'm going over to the left this time, to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. Where do I end up? I end up right here at positive 6. Okay, so if you're having trouble, there's no shame in trying to just draw this number line. If you're not sure this positive and negative stuff, just draw that number line. Let's look at number 3. Okay, so number 3 tells me to start at positive 3 this time. Okay, so the original problem was 3 plus negative 9. So if it's 3 plus negative 9, am I going to the right or to the left? So I'm actually going to be going to the left because I want to go 9 over. So starting here, I'm going 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I end up here at negative 6. And there we go. Okay. And last one, number 4. Start at negative 9 right here, plus negative 3, and go. So I'm gonna, if I'm going to plus negative 3, I'm going to the left, 2, 3, and there we go at negative 12. Okay, so what does that mean for me? That means for me, I have some properties here for you guys, and that means for me, I'm jumping ahead, this. What this is telling me is that a minus b, so if I had 9 minus 3, that means the same thing as saying 9 plus negative 3, okay? So these two things are the same thing. And so if you get confused at any point and you don't know how to do this, then always just break it down. So it's usually more applicable when it looks like something like this. So let's say we had 4 minus 10. This confuses people because the 10 is negative, they don't know what to do. So let's replace it to look like this. 4 plus negative 10, scrolling up again, okay? Let's see, 4 plus negative 10, remember is what the problem was. Start at 4, and where do they want me to go? They want me to go 10 places, and since there's a negative here, they're telling me to go towards the negative, so go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there we go right there, okay? So just a visual way for you to see that. This bullet point right here is just saying that if I give you lots and lots of things to add up, so let's say I give you 5 minus 6 plus 2 minus 4, if I give you lots of things to add up, work from the left to the right. So go 5 minus 6 is 11. 11 plus 2 is going to be 13. And then 13 minus 4 is going to end up giving me 9. But work from left to right, and it's just a good practice because later on when we get into multiplying or we get into our more complicated equations, like it's just better to go from left to right here and start getting in the habit now. So let's look at some examples, and let's start here with number 1. So what I've given you is negative 14 plus 9 minus 12 plus 20 plus negative 8. So again, if at any point you feel confused and you need to stop, pause the video, draw your number line, and sort it out. Also, for those of you guys who don't like the number line thing, maybe not so visual, I'll also show you some other tricks. So here we go. This one's pretty long, so let's take it 2 by 2 from left to right. So negative 14 plus 9. Again, if you need to, press pause, draw the number line, start at negative 14. You're at a positive 9, so you're going to move to the right towards the positive numbers, 9 spaces, okay? If not, another way you can look at this is Again, which number's bigger, the 14 or the 9? Don't worry about the negative or positive, which one's bigger. This one is. So we're going to take the sign of the bigger one, which is the 14, okay? And what do I end up with here? We're going to end up with 5, okay? Bring everything else down. Here we go. Negative 5 plus 12. So I'm starting at negative 5, and I'm going to be going which direction? 12. Okay, since it's a negative, I'm going to be going to the left. Okay, so this is going to, since they're both negative, sign's going to stay negative. If I keep going to the left, I'm going to get negative 17. Bring everything else down. Negative 17 plus 20. So I'm starting on the negative 17, but I want to add 20. So am I going to the left towards the negatives or to the right towards the positives? Towards the positives. So negative 17 plus 20 is going to give me a positive number. The 20 is bigger. That's another way you can tell it's going to be positive. You take the sign of the bigger one. So I end up with positive 3 plus negative 8. Last two here. 3 plus negative 8. So I'm starting at 3, going towards the negatives in the 8 direction. So I'm going to end up with negative 5 as the final answer. Okay. So again, if you need to, pause the video, draw the number line. You could do it that way, okay? Number 2, let x equals negative 3, y equals 6, z equal negative 4. And what I've done is I've put x, y, and z inside an absolute value and added them together. So all you need to do is just sub them out. So x is negative 3 plus y is 6 plus z is negative 4. Okay. So starting right here, negative 3 plus 6 is going to give me 3. And remember, when you do these absolute values, work inside here first. Don't try and take absolute value of negative 3 and then the 6 and then negative 4. Work on the inside first. Take the absolute value at the very, very end, okay? And write that here. Don't forget, take it at the end. Simplify inside first. 3 plus negative 4 is going to give me a negative or a positive answer. Which one's bigger? The 4 is bigger, so it's going to take the sign of the 4, which is negative, and we're going to end up with negative 1. We know absolute value of anything negative is still going to give us a positive answer. So final answer for this guy is 1. So what I'm going to be doing here in 3 and 4 is translating the words into symbols just like we did in chapter 1. So I have 30 decreased by negative 19, and so I'm looking for keywords and I see the word decreased, which I know I only have 2 options, plus or minus, so I know it has to be a minus because decreased, we're taking it away. So we're having 30 decreased, so 30 minus negative 19. I have that combination of the 2 negatives, which I know ends up overpowering and becoming a positive. So it becomes 30 plus 19 instead. We add them together to get 49. Number 4, the opposite of the difference between A and B. So looking for a keyword here, automatically maybe something that stands out is the word difference. And we want that between A and B. So difference is minus, so A minus B. What we might also be clued into is the phrase the opposite of, and so we want the opposite of that A minus B. So let's examine that a little further. So here's some numbers. 4, opposite of 4 is negative 4. 33, the opposite of 33 is negative 33. I'm going to put up the number 12 here, or negative 12, sorry, and the opposite of negative 12 is positive 12. And so let's see. So let's call the top line the start and the bottom line the final, okay? And so how do we get from the top line to the bottom? Remember, the bottom line is the opposite of the top. If you look at that, all we really did was we just put a negative pretty much in front of everything on the top line to get the bottom line. So to basically get an opposite, you just throw a negative in front. So if I want the opposite of A minus B, all I have to do is just throw a negative in front of A minus B.